In this tutorial, we're going to check out the Plus add-ons for Elementor, and in my humble opinion, this might be the only Elementor add-on you ever need. I know it's a bold statement, but you're going to see in this video that the number of options and things this one single add-on can do is mind-blowing. And you're going to see a whole lot of them in this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. My name is Bjorn Allpass from WP Learning Lab, where we help you get better at WordPress so you can earn more for yourself, for your clients, and for your business. If you haven't done so yet, make sure to click subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss any future videos. And we're getting started on this video right now. The Plus This add-ons for Elementor is a premium only add-on, and I know what you're thinking, not another premium add-on for Elementor. Well, yes, another one, and this one is one of the best add-ons I've ever seen for Elementor, just because of the volume. There's so many add-ons, it's not just one add-on. It's called the Plus This add-ons. There's a whole bunch. There's 80 plus widgets with hundreds, thousands of ways to customize them. Just to show you a sampling of some of the really cool ones, there is an on-scroll morphing shape for the background. So watch this shape in the background. This website is built with Elementor and the Plus This add-ons. Watch this shape, this moving glob, for lack of a better way to describe it, in the background. As I scroll down, it changes shape. You, as the creator, can define the shape and the color and the position as someone scrolls down the page. Now tell me you've seen that before in any add-on for Elementor. Leave a comment down below if I'm wrong. I've never seen that before. Another option available is a multi-layered parallax background. As I scroll, watch the various layers. The man's moving. The rock is moving faster than this tree right here, so that's parallaxing over top of that. This kind of rust-colored mountain range and trees is parallaxing over the mountain in the back here, which is parallaxing over this mountain. And we also have the sun in the back parallaxing. There's a bit of an issue right here because I'm really zoomed in, but you could fix that if you just change the image and just paint down a little farther. But we have multiple layers parallaxing in the background. I've never seen that anywhere, not just let alone Elementor. I've never seen that on the website before. And that is a really cool effect that you can build with this add-on. Let's check out the vertical mega menu. If we scroll down here, we're going to look at all these in more detail in a little bit. But we have a menu over here, the navigation bar. Click on there, and we have a mega menu that we can build vertically. We also build it horizontally. I just thought it was unique to show you the vertical one. And we have our mega menu right here. And over here is a carousel slideshow of WooCommerce products on the site. And here, of course, is a menu. And there's some logos on the bottom, social proof. Some with an image in the background, images as the header, logos over here, another image in the back. You get the idea. It's a mega menu. Women's fashion, all products and things for kids. How cool is that? Horizontal and vertical mega menus. Keep in mind, this is all in a single add-on. Page piling, they call it. This is basically the side scrolling page where you can easily create a side menu on the left side or the right side, or even have previous and next buttons where you can scroll through sections. As I scroll down, we see this section jumps up to the next one. I can also click right here, goes to the next section. So it's a navigation menu on the side of the page. MultiScroll, similar idea, but here it's scrolling half the page at a time. So watch as I scroll down, the left side scrolled up, the right side scrolled down. Scroll back up and it goes back up. You can create some amazingly unique websites with this add-on. The Bodymovin Animations, Lottie Files. Lottie Files is a community of designers who create lots of animated files. And this add-on, I don't know if you use Lottie Files or not, but it's pretty powerful. And you can create your own SVG add-ons there. And all you have to do is copy and paste the code that Lottie Files outputs into the widget that this add-on adds to Elementor. And you have your custom-made animation right there. And there's also, hang on, where does it say? Here. There's also 50,000 animations on Lottie Files that you can just download and use. Just copy and paste the JSON code into the widget that this adds to Elementor. Process steps. This is a pretty neat function. We have these dotted lines that indicate process. So step 1, dotted line to step 2, dotted line to step 3. That's a pretty useful widget. And if I scroll down a little bit, we have something even more useful. Here, when you click or hover on the steps, it goes to the next step and changes the image on the side, which is pretty awesome. Scroll down a little farther. Here we have the same thing as above, almost, with hover effects on the images. Here we have a phone. We click on a color and it slides in the appropriate color. And of course, because this is all built in Elementor, they're all super simple to set up and they're all responsive. Here we have another horizontal layout one. These ones are all kind of similar, just different designs. But you get the idea. Awesome layouts, awesome effects. Advanced buttons, cooler ones are still coming. Hover over this one, you have that little text that pops up and floats away and disappears. Extra fingers show up when you hover on something. That's pretty neat. Here we have text popping up in the back. This one changes shape as you hover, which is pretty cool. Now Style 14 is going to blow your mind. You hover over it and you think, what is happening? The bulge or whatever it is following my mouse cursor. How neat is that? Point and click, easy to set up. And of course, there's a lot more buttons on this page. And the hotspot, pinpoint. If you have an image like this, you could have hotspots on it explaining what specific parts of the image are. You hover over them for this example, and the little tooltips that pop up. On this example, you hover over them, and it pops up videos. In this example, you hover over them, pops up images. You get the idea. Tooltips that we put over top of images to make them more interactive and more useful to people. Carousel Anything means you can turn anything into a carousel. This is something that Brizy does out of the box. This add-on adds the functionality of Elementor, and you can turn any sections or multiple sections into carousels that slide past each other. Doesn't matter what the effects are on those columns. You can also have vertical scrolling, which is this one here. The switcher is a pretty cool feature. It allows you to toggle to switch images. So here's a dark version, click on the toggle, light version shows up. Replaces that image. This is hard to do with just code. Elementor doesn't do it out of the box. There are probably some add-ons that do this, specific plugins that do only this, whereas this is packaged with everything else you've seen so far. It blows my mind how much this plugin will do for you. It is incredible. So that's a really cool effect. They take it one step farther or further down here. We have our switcher kind of remote over here. Yearly and monthly, it's not anywhere near where the actual switching content is. The switching content's here. So you can have it remote switching essentially, which is pretty cool. You can change the names, place A, place B. You get the idea. Pretty useful stuff. Tabs and tours. This is kind of like we saw earlier with the process and the steps. You can click on different sections or different links and we have content changing, and it's kind of a step process in this case, but they're actually tabs, just more refined tabs. And the tours, let's see if we can find those. Here we have a vertical tab, kind of like the vertical menu we saw, only it switches out the tabs. Different pricing tables in the tabs. Here we have an accordion, plus we can switch views, and the accordion is inside the tab that switches around. Sky's the limit with this plugin. Honestly, sky is the limit. So those are some of the really standout features that I haven't really seen before, and especially not in one single plugin. And there's so much more this plugin has. I really encourage you to go to the website, go to this URL right here, and check out everything it offers. Hover over this menu. They're all mega menus because there's just so much stuff. Plus this widgets, or sorry, plus widgets adds a huge number of widgets. Plus listing adds more widgets and components. Plus extras adds stuff to the global options of widgets. Plus design adds 18 templates and 300 plus UI blocks, and support is of course support. So we're going to go through a lot of these We're just going to breeze through them so you can see what they look like. And I'm going to make dedicated videos for the cooler ones, how to create them, like the 3D parallax and the morphing on scroll. Those are really cool features. I'm going to make specific videos for those. First, let's check out the pricing. We scroll down here, we see, first of all, 30-day money-back guarantee. That's always awesome to have. And for a one-site license, it costs $39. It's currently on sale. I don't know if it's always on sale, but it's been on sale for a little while, and it still is right now. So that is a great time to step in, of course, when it's on sale. And you have a one-site license, three-site license, unlimited site license. The only difference between any of these plans is the number of sites you can use. As you can see here, this is the only difference right here in bold. 1, 3, and unlimited. You also have the option to go lifetime. For $99, you get lifetime license for one site, $249 for 3 sites, or $399 for a lifetime deal. And all of these plans, they include everything you're going to see in this video. And it's just bananas how much there is. You're going to see how bananas it is, how much awesome stuff there is in this plugin. Let's dive in right now. Just click on the link in the description if you want to see these pricing tables live, or if you want to see some of the features live on their website, click on the link in the description down below. So let's go to the audio player. This audio player is pretty straightforward right here, and this one's even more straightforward, but you can really enhance it and make it visually appealing, like this one here. This looks like an expensive podcasting plugin that you'd buy and add to your site, but you can do it right here with this add-on. You can even hide the play buttons underneath images. It's pretty cool. And for each of these widgets and each setting and everything, the developer has created videos that you can watch right over here. Click on the play button. You can watch a video that shows how to create the widgets, how to set the settings, all that good stuff right in here before you buy. It's pretty awesome. The advanced text block allows for more advanced settings for text. 250 plus customizations just in the advanced text block. Here's some basics. Change the alignment. Use Google Fonts. MagicScroll on this one. Watch this paragraph right here. Watch as I scroll up. It comes with me. That's the MagicScroll. This one is a tooltip. This one changes when you hover. This is a 3D hover. It changes and rotates or skews. This one's animated. This one moves in different directions as I hover over it. Lots of options. Block quotes. Here are some block quotes right here. They're much better than the basic Elementor block quote. And you can customize these however you like. They are pure Elementor widgets with huge numbers of customization options, and they're all responsive. They work on mobile. Buttons, we saw a bit of this earlier. And you should go through and hover over these. This is a little different than the page we saw earlier. There's just so many effects. It's crazy. Let's see if we can find some really bonkers effects on here, like that other one that morphs the button. This one's pretty cool. So is this one. Background that grows diagonally from the center. Buttons with outlines, shadows, custom colors. You get the idea. If you're interested in any of these, I encourage you to check out the website and just go to these pages and just check through. All these things are in the same plugin. That's what blows my mind. There's so much available. The countdowns, of course, are countdown timers, pre-built styles for you. I like this hand-drawn one. That one's really cool. Definitely takes the countdown timers to the next level. And let's see, the heading title. This just adds some more unique, 8 unique base layouts for the heading title. Here we have one with an icon above, with a smaller size font above. This one's really cool because it has a gradient color, orange to red, on the font at the top of the header there. This text is cool. I don't even know what you call that. Dots is an underline, double underline with a thicker line on the top. Let's check out the info box. 200 plus powerful design options. That's a lot. That's a lot. You can build this with the vanilla Elementor as well, or Elementor Pro, where you can custom position icons like this. You can use custom images for the background. I have not seen a hexagonal icon created with any Elementor settings out of the box, so you might have to make that as an image. But you can do this without the plugin, this option right here. But it's just so much easier with a plugin. That's the reason page builders got popular, is because you don't have to do code anymore. This is all stuff I used to build by hand. Not by hand, by code. If I did it by hand, it'd be on a piece of paper. Lots of information boxes, lots of different effects and styles that you can set and really easily point and click. Let's check out the Instagram feed. This of course pulls in Instagram, and it has lazy loading, which helps page load speed. Pulls in Instagram data right here, different design styles. Have a carousel, staggered columns, even more data using this option here. Load more button to load more. The feed using username isn't working right now because of API updates on Instagram's end. So they'll probably fix this in the future, or maybe they'll take this out if Instagram is stopping this function for some reason, like they do sometimes, like everybody does sometimes. Login and sign up. The best part about the login sign up form, if you watched some of my videos recently about login forms and the Elementor login widget specifically, when there's an error in the username or the password, the Elementor login form will send you to the default WordPress login page, which is not what you want. You're building a custom form to make it custom, but then someone makes a mistake and then goes to the regular ugly WordPress login. This one does not. In those videos, I show you plugins you can use to avoid that, but this plugin also avoids that. So if I just type in my email address, I don't have an account here or anything, so clearly it's not going to work. I click on login, nice little animation, oops, wrong username or password. Oops is spelled incorrectly, but that's okay. That's an easy fix by the developer. But it keeps you on the form. It keeps you on this page instead of redirecting you to the WordPress login page. And there's a tab up here. You can either log in or sign up. Easily switches out the content to make it a sign up form. Tell me that's not super simple. Here we have the login form in the menu. More options, there's different ways to design. You can log in with Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram down here as well. Click on here, the registration form. You get the idea. You get the idea. This one's super pro. I like the look of this one right here. Login form with the pop-up, sign up, pop-up, or sign up login, sorry. Animated side, this is an option that this add-on gives you as well. The animated dividers right here. So that's pretty cool. You get the idea. Custom login and sign up forms. And navigation menu. Gives you some more options for your navigation menus. A lot of these things are built into the header builder in Elementor Pro, but it just adds more options, which is great. Here you can have a vertical menu. It's pretty snazzy stuff. Let's check out the number counter. This is a widget that counts up to a number or down. If you use negative numbers, that's allowed. You have this great background image as well. That's built with this plugin too. That's a cool effect. So we have all these number counters. Number counters are pretty standard widgets on some websites these days. The PieChart, pretty standard widget as well. There's not too much you can do customizing a PieChart. PieCharts are PieCharts. And these ones are all kind of the same effect where you have a circle of some kind filling by some amount. And they're all like that, but they have nice presets, and that's a cool background too. I like that background. So nice presets, pretty awesome stuff. And the reason I'm going through their website and showing you all these, because as you can tell, there's so much stuff I can't feasibly recreate all these and then show you. It would take the rest of the year to do that. So I'm going through their site because they put in the work and made this stuff awesome. So I can show it to you from here. Post search bar. This is a search bar that you can add to your post and customize the look of the search bar really easily to have customized looking search bars that fit into your brand. Awesome stuff. The pricing list. Pricing lists are powerful. They're built into Elementor to some degree. They're okay in Elementor. This is just so much better. Even a tab up here. This is a great looking pricing list right here. nice menu. This is a good looking menu for a website. I like that. This one has a hover effect. This is a nice looking menu too. You get the idea. Great looking menus, and they're all mobile responsive. The progress bar, this is a bunch of different progress bars, which you can customize. As you scroll down, you see these bars filling, and that's what a progress bar is, the filling up of a bar as such. It's not too much brand new there. They're kind of all been done. There's some new designs, but really they've been done. But it's nice to have it all in one plugin. Protected content. This is content that you can password protect. There's some examples on here. For this one, we can add one of these passwords. We can have multiple passwords, as you can see. We add one of these and click on submit. The page will refresh, and now we're going to see content here instead of that call to action to enter a password. This is the content that we see right here. Doesn't have to be this, obviously. It's whatever you want it to be. It could be a blog post. You could password protect your blog posts. You could password protect just the most important part of your blog post, and all your members have the password. Just an idea. You can lock content based on user role. So you have to log in as a customer to see certain content. That's pretty useful. You can also hide coupon codes, hide them from scrapers, for example. Let's just enter the code 1234, click on submit. And we see our coupon code right here, and a scraper can't scrape that because they're not going to enter that code. Let's go back to the top, and then we will check out the next option, which is social icons. Social icons are nothing new to WordPress or Elementor add-ons or any page builder add-ons, but there is some cool features that you have with the PlusTabbed add-ons, just additional effects. You can see them moving differently as I scroll. As I hover over them, like Facebook, it shows the number of shares, or number of likes for Facebook. Animations and hover parallax. This one's spinning, as you can see. Google Plus is growing. Facebook is bouncing. Twitter is, when you hover, even when not, the birdie's jiggling a little bit. LinkedIn moves when you hover. And just different styles. You get the idea. There's a whole bunch of styles to choose from, and just different ways to make your social icons pop the way that other sites don't, because they don't have this type of animation for their social icons. So take a look through those. Let's go back to the top, and let's check out the style list. Lists are a very important part of any website that produces a lot of content, because the lists make reading content easier. So if you're producing blog posts or even table of contents for your blog post, these list upgrades in PlusTabbed are pretty helpful. We have these little icons we can add to the side of whatever list item we want. This list changes the background as you hover over various things. This one has a tooltip. This one changes the background. So does this one. These lists, we have a pinned information piece on the right hand side. You can of course change the text inside of there. These ones change the background color as well, and you have the pinned information piece on the top. Here we have different icons for each list item, and they blur out. When you hover over them, you can unblur. List with numbers. You can have more or less options set up like this. Here we can see some very subtle hover effects. As I hover over list one, we see the one you hover on stays the dark text or dark font color. The other one's gray out. Each one you hover on becomes the dark color. Other ones go a little gray. Same effect over there. Just a whole bunch of effects. Over 100 different effects for your lists inside of PlusTabbed. Then if we check out table, we will see some really cool features I haven't seen before in tables. And it's really hard to do if you're building a table with just straight HTML and CSS. We have a nice table here, as you can see. It's a beautiful table, but that's not the coolest part. The coolest part is when you switch to mobile. So let's just go to mobile. I'm going to inspect this page. I'm going to click on this icon. I'm going to switch over to iPhone X. That works. So here we have the images that we saw at the top of the table. And to the left of each image, it says what the model number is. And that's awesome. But then as we go down, it has each column with the model number on the left. This is not something you see customarily on responsive tables, because it's really difficult to recreate the table and have the column headings on the left of every column, if that makes sense. Let's go back to desktop to show you what I mean. We have our model headings up here, and we have battery and what the battery life is for each one, range, what the range is for each one, acceleration, what the acceleration is for each one, and then we basically flip this to be vertical, and we have the headings beside every single entry. This is not something I've seen before for page builders and their table abilities. And of course, I haven't seen every single table plugin, so maybe there are some that do this. I just haven't seen them. So that is a really great feature for mobile optimizing tables. There's a lot of different table designs. As you can see, there's even sorting on tables. This is really hard to do if you custom code a table. Not so hard with this add-on. We're sorting based on any column that we want to sort by. We can use tables with complex layouts. For example, we have a comparison table here, comparing diesel to gasoline. And you can switch to table contents based on which tab you hover over up here. We have the features, specifications, and grades. I'm not switching out here because it wasn't designed that way apparently, but when you switch over, it can have a different table content for each of these options. You can also have more tabs if you want to. Table with show entries over here, so the number of entries, and a search function just for the table, as well as sorting. This is great for price comparison like these fish. It makes tables very usable, much more usable beyond what you customarily see. More table designs down here. You get the idea. There's some awesome tables. And of course, there are all kinds of customizations that even go beyond what we see here. You just have to be creative enough to figure out what kind of customization you would like. We have sorting for this table, which doesn't make too much sense, a table like this, because we also have text in here. So, and we're also comparing different things. So sorting is not something I do on this table, but you can do it on any table you want. As you can see, it sorts alphabetically or reverse alphabetically, depending which way you sort it. So if we go back to the top, let's check out the next area, which is the video. The video player, much like the audio player, comes with a bunch of options. We see we can have a YouTube pop-up. Click on here, it pops up our YouTube video. You can just watch it right there. Here's a Vimeo video. I use Vimeo for my membership site. So I produce YouTube content for YouTube, which is free to everybody. And then the videos that are part of my membership or part of paid programs, I have those on Vimeo because Vimeo has way more security options than YouTube does. And so here's a Vimeo video. So you can include those, no problem. Then we have a video here that's auto-played. You can't pause it, it just keeps on playing. There's videos here that are slanted, 3D funny angles, and they play just like a regular video would in those crazy angles. So that's pretty neat. And here's some different ways you can integrate the videos. Here's Vimeo with all the options you can see. Here's a YouTube iframe without the controllers, just the video plays. So when you hover over, you don't see the controllers appear, but you can pause it by clicking on it. And here's a self-hosted video, one that's served from your server. I don't recommend this for videos because it uses up your bandwidth. If you have a lot of traffic, it can slow down your site. So I always recommend putting your videos onto a third-party service like YouTube or Vimeo and then embedding them. But you do have the option to serve the video from your site with this plugin, and you can have these fancy controllers so viewers can control the video. Let's go back up to the top. We've now come to the end of the Plus This widgets. So we've done all of these. There's a lot of widgets. Now on to the next column. The PlusCreative column adds features and functions to widgets that already exist. So if we go to Advanced Typography, we have a lot of typography options which are applied to the typography widgets inside of Elementor. There's some really neat ones like this gradient fill on hover. Haven't seen that before. You can change text to have different alignment. You can have the text go in a donut that even rotates when you hover on it. Blurred text. This is text like you used to do in Microsoft Word in the 90s. That was as fancy as text effects got back in the 90s. Now you can do that really easily on your website. Scroll magic. As we hover, we can see it changing. This one's pretty cool where you have the scrolling text that changes color based on what the background is. Background aware text blend mode. That's pretty awesome. Here we can knock out an image. So we have an image that is large, it's a full image, but then it only displays what parts of it are the text, if that made sense. So here we have the text knockout IMG that just shows the part of the image that is on top of the text. Here's an animated GIF, same idea. Here's a bunch of different text effects, crossouts, different fonts. This crossout is actually animated, underlined, animated, scrolling text inside of a paragraph. There's different underline options with different styles when you hover over them. Classic underlines, wavy, dotted, changing as we hover. Here's some cool stylized headings with these different types of underline options that we have. We have some more down here. This is a pretty cool text effect right here that we see. Stamped out text right here from this image on the left. I like the fill on hover, or this in case empty on hover in this case. I don't know what this one's doing. I feel like there's something missing on that one. That's a really cool text effect. Each character is a different color and have that script style. The rotating text up here. You get the idea. There's a lot of text options that really enhance your text. Take it to another level on your site. And then the advanced buttons. This is a lot like the buttons we saw earlier. So I'm not going to go through these in detail because we saw them. And again, if you recall, my favorite one was this crazy hover effect on a button. It's so unique. Never seen that before. Point and click, super easy. So you can check those out if you want to upgrade your buttons. Advertisement banner, pretty self-explanatory. You can have an advertisement. What's unique is these have been A/B split tested to pick the best designs for banners. You can easily create banners that look just like this. This is something you would normally hire a designer for. These images are a little blurry because my screen's 4K. If you're not on a 4K screen, these images will look just fine. But you normally hire a designer to create a banner like this, which you can now do super easily point and click inside of Elementor with this add-on. These are great looking banners. Even just for site navigation, these look great for navigation inside of the content. Pretty standard Elementor effects, but they're pretty interesting little layouts. Let's go back to the top, check out the next one. Let's go to animated separators. Elementor has a number of separators that are built into the plugin, but these separators are animated. This wave you see in the back, that is the animated separator, just in the back of a section. You can use it to separate sections or entire rows like you see down here, that wave you see there. And this one's not animated, but this one is the vertical wave right here. Really unique effect. Wave in the background. Another wave in the background. And again, can be any color you want. As you can see here, matches with the actual background. All the ones we've seen are blue. So this one's purplish. Has a gradient on it. Behind a pricing table. That looks pretty neat. So there's a cool wave effect separator. I like that a lot. Now let's check out animated service boxes. And these are in regards to your services. These are very common in widgets for Elementor and even on most websites, but they're different the way they've been designed in PlusThis. If you hover over these, we have all these options up here. We have a whole menu that can drop down, or it's a list of items depending what you want to do. Don't see that on service boxes very often. You have the same kind of idea, only we change this icon when you hover. This picture is probably not age appropriate. Likely you don't have little kids watching this channel. Here we have a set of images that change based on the menu item. Portfolio style layout. As we hover over these, we have the image changes. Could be your services. In this case, it's a list of products that this company has, but it could also be your services that change out this image as you hover over them. Same idea here. Background changes. Fancy box style for your services. Hover section, hover over each of these, change the background and have this content pop in. That one's a nice design. That one's pretty nice too. Information slides in as you hover. Images slide in as you hover. Button slides in. You can use these for various things. It doesn't have to be just be for services. It can be for your articles. It could be just for your team in this case. A lot of different ways you can use these elements. This one's pretty cool. As you hover, it's basically an accordion as you hover over those. Here it is in vertical format instead of horizontal. Like that effect. Same idea, just changes a little bit, zooms in the image as you hover. This one's pretty cool. Pretty cool because it looks delicious, that's why. Let's go back up to the top. Let's go to animated text. The name is fairly self-explanatory. The text is animated, as you saw right there. It's animated, and we have the text switching out. Here we have more animated text. This is something you have in Elementor Pro, I believe, animated text, but the options that this adds in are way more intense. There's way more options you can add in style designs for your animated text. This one underlines. As the underline stays there for a little bit, it switches the text after that. We have a box that kind of zooms in and fades out. A bunch of different add-ons for the animated text. And now let's check out before and after. This is labeled as popular, so it must be pretty interesting. Before after images. That is pretty neat. You see this on image optimization websites where they have an unoptimized image and the optimized one, and they basically show you there's no difference except for file size. This is a cool before after. Easily done with this plugin. A vertical before and after. It's pretty cool. Shows like a Photoshop filter or something being applied to an image with a before and after. Here's before and after when you hover. Is that true? Yeah. Looks like it changes when you hover. That's cool. That's all it is. Coffee beans to a coffee cup. Pretty straightforward. Sliding bar or on hover, depending on how you want to do it. The correct application will make sense for whatever you need. It's an easy way to add a before and after widget. Next is the Bodymovin Animations. We saw these ones earlier at the start of this video as part of our list of coolest little add-ons you can have with these animated images, and you can create your own at this website, lottifiles.com. Then you can copy and paste the JSON information right into the plugin, and then you have your own animated images through this plugin. Let's go to Carousel Anything. We saw this one earlier as well, because it is a pretty cool feature that is present in other page builders like Brizy, where you can turn anything into a carousel. There's an option built right into Brizy where you can just choose, make this a carousel. Boom, it's a carousel. In Elementor, you could only make the carousel widget a carousel. Now with this option, you can carousel anything. Entire sections, entire rows, just images, carousel based on hover. As we're hovering here, the carousel on the left changes. Anyway, you saw it at the very beginning of this video. I'm not going to go over it again. Visit the site, check out all these options. Check out all these features because there's some really, really cool ones. Carousel Remote. This is a carousel with remote options. We saw this earlier as well. We hover or click on an option somewhere else, and it's basically a remote control for a carousel that exists somewhere else. As we click over here, the pricing table is changing on the right. As we click here, we have our carousel changing at the bottom. And you can make these whatever you want. These are just button widgets. That could be whatever kind of button you like. So it's a very flexible way to create carousels. Here it lists all the things you can carousel with this Carousel Remote: blog posts, testimonials, Woo products, lots of things. Even anything carousel, which basically means you can remote carousel anything because you can carousel anything, and it applies to anything carousel. So if you like these remotes, you can do it with anything on your website, which is pretty awesome. Let's go back to widgets. Let's go to circle menu. I did not show these ones at the beginning of the video, but they are pretty awesome. You see these sometimes on mobile at the bottom of a website on a mobile screen where you can click on it and a menu comes out in a circle or a half circle for mobile sites. And this allows you to create a circle menu on your website wherever you want it. Whoops. Wasn't supposed to click on it, just hover on it to see the effect. It is really unique. This one's a click on. Sometimes you hover, sometimes you click, depending on the settings when you set up the menus. But they are very interesting, I find, these circle menus. You basically get the idea. That's about all it is. You hover over something or you click on something and your menu comes up in a circular format. It can be icons, it can be words, it can be images like we saw here. And it's just a very interesting menu that you don't see a lot. In fact, I've only seen it a couple times on mobile, but now you can have this wherever you want on your site. It'll really make your site stand out. Nobody has that, or very few people have that on their websites. Creative images. This provides more options for adding images on a website. As we can see, this kind of a paintbrush style image we have here, we have it change as I scroll down to it. Let's refresh. That's a pretty neat effect as the image loads. This one here has got the multi-tilt. Here we have scrolling images. As we hover over them, it scrolls. It scrolls with the paintbrush outline for the image. Scrolls as a full design layout. Has a box shadow over here. You can adjust the speed of the scroll. And you see this for page builders as well when you add templates. They have little thumbnails for the template. And you hover over the thumbnail, it scrolls through it really quickly to show you the full thumbnail, or at least a larger version, so you can make a better decision whether you like that template. Here's a parallax effect that changes as you move the mouse. You can see it moving in anticipation or in a direction that's opposite of my mouse movement. This one's a little more extreme in how far it moves, but same idea. MagicScroll, these ones change as you scroll down. Images get bigger and smaller as I'm scrolling past them. The tooltip adds tooltips to images. Those are always handy to have. 3D tilt parallax. Overlay special effects. Continuous animations. We see each of these doing different things. This one's growing and shrinking. This one's moving around a bit. This one's rotating. This one's jiggling up and down. Not really, it's a bad description of that one, but you can see what it's doing. CSS filter effects on hover. Super parallax. These are scrolling sideways. They're parallaxing sideways as I scroll down. Scroll reveal effect. These ones are revealed as I scroll, kind of like lazy load. And you can choose which direction they reveal from. And those are a lot more options for adding images to a site. Let's check out Draw SVG. SVG is an image format. They're vector graphics, meaning you can scale them however you like. They're very popular for icons. And with this feature, it draws them. So as I scroll down, you'll see them being drawn. As I scroll down farther, you see the icons being drawn, which is a pretty cool effect. Different colors, different sizes, and a whole lot of icons that can be drawn. As I scroll down, my computer's getting a little choppy because there's so many being drawn at once. You wouldn't want to have that many on your site. But you can choose any one of these. They're even redrawn themselves as I hover over them. That's a really cool effect. Let's go to dynamic devices next. I'm sure you've seen mock-ups on websites where it shows content inside of various devices, and this allows you to do that very easily. Here we have the scrolling options inside of a mobile phone. Here we have a desktop screen and our image. We have an animated GIF or something playing inside of this desktop computer. Here we have a tablet of some description with an accordion. It's a nice looking accordion. That's not the feature. The feature is the image you import into the tablet. So you don't have to use Photoshop or a different photo editing program to combine your screenshot with a tablet. You can do it right with this plugin. This one's very cool because you can have an app display or an app showcase where it shows different screens of the app. As you click on them, Here we have the website scroll as you hover, various mobile device designs that you can choose from, various laptop designs you can choose from, and tablet designs. A lot of options to add screenshots and layouts right into mobile devices, dynamic devices, I should say. Not mobile, there was a desktop computer in there as well. Let's go to FlipBox. FlipBox is already inside Elementor Pro, but this adds a few more options. We have a 3D horizontal flipping box there, FlipBox on a carousel. So we have a carousel running and we FlipBox each of the items in there. Vertical FlipBox. That's the size of that one. That's not the most exciting one. The next one is pretty awesome though. Hotspot Pinpoint. There are various plugins that exist that are premium that you have to buy just for this one feature. This is all they do. And you buy them. A lot of people buy them just for this one feature that's built into this plugin with thousands of features. Maybe not thousands, but lots. So the feature is we have this cool background image and we have these hotspots that when you hover on them, it shows more information about that part of the image. All these ones with the red circle that have kind of a water drop effect of gray coming out, those are all the hotspots. And of course you can change the colors, you can change the icons, you can change the text that pops up. We'll see some more examples down below. We have videos inside these hotspots. And this is also what I showed you earlier. I see these tabs up here. This is what I showed at the beginning of the video because it's such a cool feature. And like I said, there's premium plugins that do only this, create hotspots. And it's one of the many features you get with this plugin. Let's check out image cascading. This provides a bunch more options for how to display your images. As we can see, we have these cool paint splatter effect here, paintbrush effect here and here on how you can basically layer mask an image and show the image only through certain parts that you want to see it through, if that made sense. It's hard to explain. We have a lot of different effects for these images. Click on the play button, opens in a lightbox. YouTube didn't like that, but there's a video. Parallax effect on hover. The three images are hovering at different speeds and they're overlaid. That circle, half circle in the back is rotating as I scroll, which is called MagicScroll. Here we have tilt on hover. The image is not only tilting, it's also changing in dimensions as I hover. Here we have like a sideways shuffle when I hover. Very uncommon effect, I haven't seen that before. So the point is, there's a lot of image options that you have here. I like this sideways shuffle effect. MagicScroll, you can build entire websites just on MagicScroll. So have these entire sections that just pop in and slide in as you scroll down. In fact, the Apple website does that quite a bit for their designs. Now let's check out the morphing sections. We saw these at the beginning of the video as well because they're awesome. We have these sections that morph. This one has a background image. The background image appears and disappears as this piece morphs. And of course, it can be whatever shape you decide it should be. This one has a gradient overlaid. And they're animated continuously. You can also have them do their job, their morphing, when you hover. This one's quite fast. This one's a little bit slower. This one rotates and has the morphing effect. The background image rotates. There's a lot of cool options for the morphing. Very unique. You don't see it on a lot of websites. Off canvas. This allows you to add content off canvas. For example, we click on one of these buttons. We have the website shoved over and a menu appear. This is something I did a video on a little while ago, not with the shoving over, but in this one, yeah, this one. You can do this with Elementor and a third plugin, or sorry, a second plugin, a pop-up plugin, where you can pop in the content from the side. But it does not allow you to do this, where the website basically slides over as the content comes in behind it. And this has one of the features where you hover over an element, it changes the background image. So you can mix and match all the options. Corner box that slides in, slide in at the bottom along the content, push the content down from the top, and the off-canvas element can contain whatever you want. Doesn't just have to be a menu. It could be a list of products, the most popular products in your store right now, or some kind of contest you're running. Off-canvas hamburger menu icons, various types of hamburger icons. You get the idea. A lot of flexibility, a lot of stuff you can do. It can be icons for the button, it can be text for the button. Here we have a canvas, off canvas, where we decide how much space it takes up on the screen. 300 pixels, this would be 300 pixels on no matter what device you have. This would be 100% of the screen, no matter the device. This would be 50% of the screen. This one's 500 pixels, no matter the device. You have to test that to see which one you like best on various devices. Here we have with the default scroll bar. So if it's a lot of content, you can scroll through it. Here we have a custom scroll bar. On the right-hand side, we can see the custom colors for the scroll bar. Scroll bar off. So you can still scroll, just don't see the scroll bar. So I encourage you to come here and check out these options because they are extensive and awesome. Definitely an easy way to level up your website design is getting the Plus This Addons plugin. Let's see, process steps. This is a very common feature you see on websites. Very easily made with this plugin. I believe we looked at this, yes, this tab right here. We looked at this at the very beginning of the video as one of the coolest options, where we can have these process steps. This one's one of the cooler ones, where we can have the images slide in and out. This is kind of the remote carousel as well, kind of the same feature. So I'm not going to go through those again. We went through them at the beginning of the video. And it's definitely something that's very popular on websites, having steps. Scroll navigation is the next one. And this one gives you the ability to have navigation that follows you down the page on a one-page website. These aren't common, but when you see them, they are quite nice. We see one on the right-hand side right here. So we have a website with a bunch of sections, and we have the menu on the right-hand side. If I click on home, it takes us to the home area. And here, of course, it's showing a bunch of different options along all the edges of the website. So you can have the menu in all these different areas that you see. You can have it be icons, Roman numerals, just buttons or diamonds. When you hover over them, it can show text or numbers. You get the idea. But you click on any of these, and you'll see the next section. And this one here highlights to show you where you are. The other ones don't, from what I can tell. So that's a nice feature, that it highlights where you are. It's important, I would think. Even as I scroll down, you can see the highlighting changing on the one on the left there. So that's how we can add the scrolling, the one-page scroll navigation as they call it. And then we have the smooth scroll, which is basically an option that allows you to smoothly scroll down the page. And it's like a scroll assist almost. It makes scrolling less choppy as you scroll down. Some websites have it, some don't. Some people like it, some don't. But it's in here. And the last one for the PlusCreative is the timeline. If we scroll down here, we can see a timeline. As we hover, more entries appear on the timeline. And different designs, as you can see. Images, you can probably have videos in here as well. You have dates for the timeline. Pretty cool feature. Popularized by Facebook, I think. They're probably one of the first that had a timeline like this and made it kind of available to the public en masse. But now we can have it in Elementor with a few clicks of the button. Clicks of the mouse, I should say. So that covers PlusCreative. Then we have options for sections. Under PlusSections, we have the canvas background. If we click on there, the canvas particles background has a lot of options. We've seen a lot of them already. We have a main demo page where it shows these background demos. This being a canvas overlay with these orthogonal shapes. This one as well. And we also have parallax backgrounds, segmentation backgrounds, canvas backgrounds, which is this one here, and gallery backgrounds. We're going to open each of these in a different tab, in its own tab. So we look at them all. That's the current page on the canvas background. And again, this is the canvas where you have basically an effect that covers the entire background. Here we have these bubbles floating up, these circles converging in the middle, parallax background that moves when you hover in different areas, when you move your mouse around, other orthogonal shape backgrounds, more bubbles moving around, snowing, stars floating. These are all part of the row background widget that we see right here. The parallax backgrounds has demos that we saw earlier in the video. We can have backgrounds that persist for multiple sections, which is not common in Elementor. Here's one section with this text here. Here's a second section. That's super handy. Here we have these shapes on the left and the right moving or growing as we scroll. Very subtle. Can burn effect, which is basically an image that zooms in and out slowly over time. That's the can burn or can burns. Background video as a parallax. MagicScroll background. We have overlapping backgrounds. Background that moves with mouse movement. Parallax background just on a section or on a row or on a widget area, just as part of a row, not the entire row. We have 3D tilt on this one, depending how we move our mouse. And then we have this multi-layered 3D background that I showed at the beginning of the video, which is an awesome example of how this works. And that's in the row background widget. The segmentation background just segments the background. It's a pretty cool effect. Very unique. This is in the row background widget, which is the same as the canvas background. So you'll notice that these are just different demos of effects you can do in the same background widget or in the same handful of widgets. Here we have a gallery with a background image that changes. A FlipBox gallery. 13 different transitions for the gallery background. And that's part of the row background widget. So those are various options for our backgrounds in our rows and sections. So that was the canvas background. And we saw the gallery background page because we linked to it from the canvas background page. Same as the parallax background. We saw the segment background. We saw the row background at the beginning of this tutorial. This is going to take a quick look at to refresh our memories. We have these backgrounds where we have various things happening on different levels. So we have this image going back and forth. We have these leaves and the tomatoes that move at varying various rates depending how you set it up. We have some MagicScroll where this image is in front of some text, behind other text. Video in the background. Layer masking in the background. So we have various background setups. Under the row background, we saw this one earlier in the video. And these special backgrounds we saw as well. This is the one where the background is animated as you scroll. You recall from earlier in the video. Background changes color as you scroll with a gradient. And various demos. Come to this page to check out those demos on those backgrounds. We went over them earlier in the video. And then we also have the video background, which we've touched on throughout this video. And pretty self-explanatory. There's a video in the background. It can be YouTube videos, it can be Vimeo videos. It works on iOS and mobile. It can also be self-hosted videos. And it's just a video in the background. Pretty self-explanatory. Now we move on to the PlusTabbed. We have accordions, switchers, and tab/tours. We've seen these throughout this tutorial, and we just are going to see them again. right now. We can click on these. These are just an accordion. The image on the right switches based on which accordion you open. Also the option of choosing from these navigation dashes down here. So pretty awesome effects, but we've seen these before in this video. We haven't seen these before on other sites. These are pretty unique ways of doing accordions, but we have seen these in this video already. This one is based on hovering instead of clicking. So there we have our accordions and our switchers. This is a little toggle button that allows you to switch things. Dark version, light version. We saw this at the start of the video. This is one of the cooler options that are normally pretty difficult to do, but super simple with this plugin. So that's the switcher. And the tabs and tours. There are 10 pre-built styles built in with these tabs and tours. And you can, of course, adjust them however you see fit. We have these arrows to navigate through the tour. We can also click on these links to navigate through the tour. And tabs. Unique way of setting up tabs. More tabs here. More tabs here. Tabs are very common website elements. It's just a unique way of presenting them. So there we have tabs and tours. That brings us to PlusScroll. We've seen these throughout this tutorial. It's basically a one-page website, and we scroll through it. Here are demos of what these look like. You just click on the Watch Demo to see an interactive demo like we've been going through in this tutorial. But it's basically scrolling through a website in various ways to make that happen. Here are the 50-50, where half the page scrolls up, half scrolls down. The 30-70, again, 30% scrolls up, 70% scrolls down. This one here, we have the navigation on the left. This one has navigation on the right. And you can scroll through a page. Someone's going to open these in their own pages so we can quickly check out what these scrolling demos look like. Full page scroll. As I move the mouse just a little bit, the next portion scrolls in. I'm not scrolling all the way down. It just notices I'm scrolling down and it pops in the next piece. Page piling, kind of the same thing, only the transition is different. And we're basically piling the content over top. Whereas here, if we scroll down, we're shifting the content down or up. Here, we're putting the content over top, which in this case is called piling. MultiScroll, half the page scrolls up, half scrolls down. Very unique effect. And in this one, 30% scrolls up, 70% scrolls down. And those are different scroll options. Now, if we go back to our menu here, these are the scroll options we see here. So we just covered all of those under that plus scroll area. The plus header, we have a navigation builder. This gives us even more enhanced capabilities beyond what Elementor can do out of the box, even Elementor Pro. Has a bunch of layout styles here already pre-built, and it has a bunch of options you can add on to that. Of course, those are all mobile optimized as well. And now we're going to check out the breadcrumbs. This allows us to add breadcrumbs. It's basically the sequence of steps you took to get to a certain page. And these are different breadcrumb designs. And those are very common on websites, very useful to have, so people know where they are on your site. The mobile menu, for this to work, we have to switch to mobile. So I'm just going to right click, go to inspect, click on the mobile icon. And now we have the mobile menu at the bottom of the page and more content on the page. So we have layout number 1. This goes right to the bottom. We see it, the purple area here scrolling down with us. That is the mobile menu, and we have different layout options. We have these options here, kind of minimalist, just some icons. We have a bar that looks like this. We have, don't too much in that example, a bar looks like that. This kind of bar, different designs for the menu that's stuck to the bottom of the website on mobile. So that's pretty useful stuff, especially because everything should be mobile first these days. And if we head into here again, let's go to horizontal mega menu. Takes us to here, and this is in fact all the mega menus, because on the menu we had a horizontal, a vertical, and a vertical toggle menu. So we have horizontal here, vertical toggle here. So let's open these in separate pages again, separate tabs. The horizontal mega menu looks like this. Hover over these options and we have a mega menu like you're probably used to seeing. It's a menu that goes horizontally and the mega is the content inside the menu. If we go to the vertical, we have the mega menu vertically aligned. So it's a little bit different than we're used to, but it's still very effective and very awesome. In the vertical toggle menu, we can have the mega menu bar inside of our horizontal menu. So here we have our regular items, just regular drop downs, nothing too crazy. Then we have our navigation bar here, click on there, and it toggles our vertical mega menu. Those are our 3 mega menu options built into the plugin. If you like mega menus, find them useful, this is a great add-on to have to add those options to Elementor. PlusAdded are integrations with various plugins: Caldera Forms, Contact Forms 7, Everest Forms, Google Maps, Gravity Forms, MailChimp Description, Ninja Forms, and WP Forms. As you can tell, forms are a huge point of integration. I'm not going to go through each of these because they're really just integrations, and the tutorial really is about how these form builders work themselves. But you can integrate them all using simple integrations that are already built into this plugin for you. Plus listing, this gives a lot of options that overlap quite a bit depending on what you're working with. So for blog posts, we have all of these options to help with our blog post listings. Similar options, you'll notice the same kind of options. We have carousel, filter, grid, masonry, messy columns, and metro, which are all also listed in our blog posts. They're all also listed under all the others. So blog posts has the most complete set. I'm going to go through all of these, and you can apply these to blog posts, image gallery, Woo products, team members, testimonials, client logos, dynamic listing options, and magazine post styles. So let's start. Let's go to blog post carousel. This adds a carousel of blog posts in different styles. Pretty straightforward. All kinds of different designs. You can make your blog post carousels very unique. As you can see, there's a lot of options as well. That's the blog post carousel. Design styles. This gives you various design styles like grid, metro, masonry. As you can see here, masonry type. And these are just options to change the layout of your blog posts. This, of course, is for your blog list. This is not for the blog post itself. That's why this is called plus listing. This is all the places where there's listings of things. And the filter allows us to have a filter. This is the filter right here. So this is based on categories or tags. I'm not sure which, one of the two. And you can click on it and it shows just the content inside of that category or tag. Different styles as well. This even shows you how many in each category. So there's different styles, and visitors can filter through your blog posts using that filter option. The grid. This provides a grid layout for your blog posts. Not entirely uncommon. You've seen various things like this before. This just gives you more control over the design and look of the grid layout on your site. Lazy load. This allows the site to lazy load the content. So as I scroll down, you'll see the content appearing. Here, lazy load or loading. As I scroll down, it loads more, and that's what lazy loading is. It's loading more as you scroll, which means it doesn't have to be loaded all at once, which means that it serves or it saves resources and makes your site faster. Load more. This provides a button. Instead of loading more as I scroll, there's a load more button, and it loads as I click. That's the big difference between lazy load and load more. And of course, as always with this plugin, there's a bunch of different styles you can choose from. And then we have our masonry, which is another way of laying out the content. It all looks very nice. And then we have messy columns. And we see our columns, here we go, here's a good example, are staggered, or they're messy, as in they're not all lined up. Probably works great for some sites, not so great for others. Really depends on what you're working on. This one, if I zoom out, because I'm zoomed in a bit, it'll go back into having 3 in a row. This zoomed in because my monitor is too big. Let's go to Metro. This is another layout option like grid and masonry. This style is just called Metro. You just choose which style you want, how many columns you want, and it does all the layout for you. So that's Metro. Now let's check out pagination. This gives us pages or pagination. Instead of having load more or lazy loading where it loads instantly, it loads pages by clicking on the buttons down here. And then staggered load, similar to lazy load, it will load as you come in or as you scroll down, but it staggers it, whereas lazy load will bring in a whole bunch at once as it loads them. This will load them one at a time as you scroll down. And it will fade them in like it's doing for us right now. Well, there was 3 at a time. So that's staggered load. And we'll notice that these blog listing options are similar to image gallery. There's less options in image gallery, but it has all the same ones as blog posts. Woo Products has all the same except for staggered load is missing for those. Team members has all the same except for center mode, which is in addition to team members. That one's not on blog posts. And this is center mode, where the center one is a bit bigger than the others. You also have messy columns for the team members. But I like the center load where the center one's bigger. I like that a lot. And we have center mode for testimonials as well. And then we have different styles for testimonials. So here's style 1, style 2 with the center load. I like that option a lot. Style 3, style 3A, style 4. And if we look at the menu system, those are actually all the styles that are listed in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are the styles we have for testimonials. For client logos, we have CSS filters, which are not found on the other options. This one's the blur filter. Elementor does have CSS filters for various things, but not for images, not like this. It has center mode for the client logos, where it zooms in on the one that's actually in focus. And for the client logos, we have all the other options as well. Those are all the same as previous ones we've already seen. For dynamic listing posts, we have a custom loop skin. This allows you to have a loop where you can display multiple different things using a layout you design. For example, if these were products, in this case a hotel room, you can have this skin that you built. So you have the featured image here, you have the name here, the location here, ratings here, price here, and that's the template. And then it loops through all the custom post type entries you have for that, and then it presents them on one page. And it loops through them all. And you can have multiple different designs in this loop. Here we have 2 different designs. Here's one with a featured image, but no tags and only a title. Here's one with no featured image, but with tags and a description as well as a title. Then we can have even 3 different skins. As you can see, these 3 are different, the first 3. And it loops through them. It loops in the content that you have in those custom post types. Here's 5 different skins in a carousel. Allows you to create highly dynamic, unique websites. And it goes through the special features, compatible with ACF, toolset, and pods. And if you've used Elementor with dynamic fields before, you may know that the repeater field doesn't exist. ACF has a repeater field which allows you to add repetitive content. Doesn't exist. It's not compatible with Elementor Pro. This helps with that compatibility. because you can have these skins, which will then loop, in essence, is a repeater field. We also have dynamic listing. This allows us to create a listing page with our dynamic content with a whole lot of options. Works with all post types as well. There's this nice video here that will walk you through how that works. And we also have the dynamic category. Category is an archive page with listing of content, and you can define how those lists look. This one's carousel style, grid style, another grid, metro style, and these are category listings. Hugely helpful to have those kind of options, especially if you want a highly custom website. Then we have under magazine post styles, the magazine slider. And all these options in here look like a magazine layout. We have a ticker up here where you can add content. You have these blog posts in a carousel, which is pretty cool. Different style of carousel here. Third style with navigation at the bottom. Fourth style. Fifth. Sixth. As with everything in this plugin, there's a huge number of styles and very, very easy customization to make things appear and look just how you want them. The magazine filter adds a filter, just like we saw for the blog posts, where we can filter various content and it displays it in a magazine style. So that is very cool. Dynamic ticker. This is the ticker we saw at the top of the magazine style. These are dynamic. This can be pulled in from content elsewhere. And we have different designs for that ticker. You can, of course, customize the colors very easily. The design is really the layout, how we have this dark area with top stories, the ticker title here, and then we have a different layout for that content in this one and this one. You can change the colors. Color change is easy. The design part is hard, and this plugin takes care of all the design for you. So we've covered all the plus listings. We have plus extras. These are options that are added to the advanced options of many different widgets. We have column extras. So let's go to the back end hidden opacity. This applies opacity in the editor for when you're hiding things on different devices. You no longer are wondering which device is hidden on because you have opacity applied to it. You know, okay, this is hidden for, or this has a visibility setting. It's hidden for some people, not for others. And so it's a little grayed out. Makes it a little easier to edit in Elementor. The column ordering in different devices. This is where you are able to, on mobile devices, have a different column order. So stuff that should be on top is at the bottom. So that should be on the bottom is on top. And that's all Elementor allows, Elementor Pro. It just allows you to reverse the column order. This allows you way more flexibility. This allows you to set which column is in which position on which device. So on desktop, this one's first, this one's second, this one's third. On a tablet, this one is second, this one's first, this one's third. So if I go to Inspector, or go to Inspect, and I switch to a tablet. Which one's a tablet? iPad Pro is a tablet. So we have this one first, this one second, this one third. And now if I go to mobile, the fish will be third and the manta ray will be second. So let's switch to a phone. We don't have this one first, manta ray second, fish third. So you can customize which column is in which order. Hold on, push the wrong button. Let me get back to that page. So you can customize which column appears where based on the device type. And as I scroll around this page, we'll see the other options for the plus extras for the columns. We see here we can have custom widths based on pixel size, calculations, or the calculation function, which is a CSS function. We can have custom breakpoints. A breakpoint is a defined pixel width at which point the website will change from a desktop to a tablet sized or a mobile sized, depending on what the settings are. So as the viewport of the visitor gets smaller, if they're on a mobile phone, for example, it's smaller. So the website knows that it's a phone and it should be mobile, and that it knows it because of the breakpoint. And you can set custom breakpoints for individual areas. So here we see that this will be hidden for these pixel sizes, which we can set right in the plugin. Which pixel sizes, what happens at which pixel sizes. So this will be hidden at this pixel range. And when the column is this wide and below 650, we'll have 50% margin. So not only can you hide them, but you can change the margins and paddings based on the width of the viewport. And we can also change the sequence. So this one will be second in the sequence for this pixel width. This one will be first in that pixel width range. So you can be very, very specific on what happens in different viewport sizes. Combine that with the column ordering here, and it can be extra specific. You have sticky columns. This column on the right is sticky, it's following this down. This is the hidden background that we talked about earlier. We can have custom CSS in each individual column, which is pretty handy. So that is the plus extras columns that we see here. What we did not see was the mouse cursor icon. This allows us to change the mouse cursor. So we see we have this swipe left cursor now. If we swipe left, we get new content. We have a different cursor here where we're not hovering on the button. When we do hover, it changes to a different one. Click on any image. Scrolls down to the bottom in that case. Click on View More. Here we have a little mouse that follows us around. So we can have various kinds of mouse cursors. It's always fun to change them, especially when you're trying to highlight something specific, but it's more of a fun thing. I can't see a lot of use cases where that'd be required, but it's definitely cool to have that in there. Global options, we can have conditional rules. This allows us to enable or disable any Elementor widgets based on multiple conditions and logic. For example, login status. Hide and show things based on whether someone's logged in or not. If you have, for example, a membership site and you want to switch the menu so when someone's logged in, it says My Account, and when they're logged out, it says Log In, something like that. That's something you need an extra plugin for normally, and it's built right into this one, which already has so many other features. The other plugin I'm talking about, that's all it does, is just switching the labels on the menus based on whether you're logged in or logged out. So this adds that into your site with a lot more stuff as well. Here we can choose which operating system. We can have logic based on that. Logic based on the day of the week. We have a different banner for every day of the week if we want. More conditions, visitor status, ones we just saw. User roles is another one. Date and time. We have it based on what type of page they're on, what type of archive they're on. So it's pretty useful having those conditional elements, especially for customizing websites. Global continuous effects. These are effects or animations that just carry on, keep on going. As we can see, this grows, this pulses, it just keeps going. It's continuous. Floating buttons, same thing. All these animations you see here, those can be set to be continuous if you want them to. And here we have a 3D tilt effect. And these can be continuously applied, always applied to specific elements if we want to. Mouse hover parallax. More special effects. So that was the mouse over parallax, the special overlay color, 3D tilt. The global tooltip we've not seen. This gives you tooltip options, which is this little pop-up that appears. That's the tooltip, which gives you more information, gives the visitor more information about various things they might need information on. That might not be 100% clear. You can change the position. You can add these tooltips to make things a little more clear. Very handy for user experience. Different animations for how they appear. Different themes, light, dark, translucent. Different triggers on hover or on click. They can be interactive or normal. They can have HTML content like images, YouTube videos, drop downs, HTML content. You can set the duration of how long it takes them to appear or disappear. As you can see, very cool effects and lots of options for those tooltips. So that's the global options. The special features, we can have CSS for every column or section. We saw a bit of that earlier, which is awesome. With Elementor Pro, you can add CSS to a page. This allows you to add specific CSS to sections. I wouldn't recommend you go overboard because it's always good to know where your CSS lives. So I would still, for the most part, just put it in one place, but you have the ability to put it in more places if you want to. MagicScroll integration. The MagicScroll we've seen throughout this video. As we scroll, we can see these images and elements move around or they rotate. They're doing things basically in response to us scrolling down the page. And that's MagicScroll. When we stop, they stop moving. When we start scrolling, they start scrolling. Scroll in the opposite direction, and they do the opposite of what they did as we scroll down. So that's the MagicScroll. On scroll animation content. This gives us animations for every single widget that we want. We can have a single animation, a dual animation. Let's just refresh this page. If you see the single animation, it just comes in, it just fades in. That's one single animation. Whereas the dual one, it starts in one area, gets bigger, and it moves. So it's a dual animation. We can have a delay for the animation. We can have a duration for the animation. And we can use this on any widget. So if we hover over every alphabet item, we see some options of what it can do. And these are all the different options that are available for this plugin. And there's a lot, or for this specific add-on, I should say, not for this plugin. There's a lot of different options for these animations. And I cannot believe that we're still going. And there's so many different options, so many different features of this plugin. It's crazy. Row section scroll animation. So as we scroll, we have animations for these rows. That's a pretty cool one. As I scroll up or down, this 3D cube animation occurs. That's pretty neat. And it's kind of like the MagicScroll where the animation reverses as you do the opposite thing. And we can apply this to entire rows. This one's really cool. This bottom one, it kind of falls down from the top. As we scroll, it then falls backwards. Or how'd that happen? Yeah, there it goes. It's falling down now. That's interesting. A lot of cool row options. And then white label. This allows you to put your own branding on the plugin so it looks like you've built it. It's all yours. So if you do a lot of client work, that might be handy for you. Plus design. This is where we have templates. This plugin, in addition to all the features we just saw and all the stuff it can do, they give you 18 different page templates and 300 unique UI blocks, and they keep adding more as well. So it's not going to stop here. Here we can see all the page templates that are available. Click on any one of them, and you can see the actual live template. Everything is functional. The links don't go to anywhere at this point, but all the stuff that you see on here, this is the actual page that you'd be creating with this template, and you just customize it to whatever you need. So there's a lot of different templates available, and the UI blocks, if we check those out, we can see them all here as well. So they're broken down into these different sections. Click on any one of them, and we can see the hero blocks. The hero blocks being a big image with a strong message. That's the hero block. And you just easily import these. These are all the hero templates right here. Just import, boom, done. Customize to suit your needs. So click through all those to see all the different blocks, or just get this plugin. There's so many features. It's like I was saying at the beginning of this video, it is a no-brainer of an Elementor add-on. It does so many things. This might be the only Elementor add-on that you ever really need, because it already does so many things, and they're adding more. And the developer encourages feedback. He'd love to build what you want as long as it's possible, and he'll build whatever you need into this plugin as long as there's enough demand, as long as it's possible to do. There's a support section as well, Facebook community, video tutorials, support forum, and documentation. It's a great plugin, and I highly encourage you to come to this page, linked to in the description down below, and browse through all the different options that you have available. And then head to the pricing page and order yourself a copy, because it's only going to get more expensive, because there's no way you can have this many features in a plugin and not make it more expensive over time. I'm sure you'll agree that it's a whole lot of features available in this one plugin. I think it might be the only Elementor add-on you need. I know it's bold, but I think that's true. If you haven't done so yet, please make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss any future videos. And then check out this video up here where I show you how to recreate a cool header using Elementor. And then check out this video down here where I show you how to make your websites really fast using WP Rocket. Until next time, my name is Bjorn, all pass from WP Learning Lab. Keep crushing it, and I will see you in the next video.